Hello, you beautiful stars. Welcome to another week of Awaken and Align podcast. I'm your host, Laura Chung. Thank you so much for your wonderful messages and tagging me on your Instagram stories and DMing me. And I'm so glad that all of these episodes are resonating with you. And I thought I would take this week to do another solo episode based on my knowledge of astrology, energy healing. I'm also a Reiki master, and just my own life experiences, because at the end of the day, I can only share what I've learned throughout my journey in the hopes that something that resonates with you, you can take away and apply it into your own life. And I truly believe when we all stand in our own authenticity, we give others the permission to do the same. So the first thing I wanted to do before we get into it is to actually reintroduce myself, because there's so many new listeners out there, and I forget sometimes that not everybody knows my story. So hello, everyone. Thank you for all of you who have found this podcast, and also for my longtime listeners who have been here since Chase Wildheart. It's crazy that it's been since 2018. My name is Laura Chung again. I am a native New Yorker. I was born and raised in New York. I was actually born in Queens. And I don't want to go into my whole origin story because there's definitely enough content on my podcast about that. But to sum it up, I am a daughter of immigrant parents who immigrated here from South Korea in 1977 and grew up pretty much, as an 80s, 90s kid in suburbia, just outside of New York City, and really was a child who, if you just met me now, if you met me at this stage of my life where I really do try to be outside, be creative, just share what I love, it's so much more aligned with how I was as a child. As a child, my mom always said that I spent hours outside with the neighborhood kids. I would spend my time drawing and daydreaming and painting and creating forts and creating imaginary worlds. I'd write scripts and put on little shows for my family. Very much in my fifth house, my son in my fifth house of just joy, fun, and play and creativity, which is a Leo house. And I, was a daughter of immigrant parents living in New York. So somewhere along the line, I felt that I should, quote unquote, be serious, and went to college. My dream was actually to become an artist. My dream school was RISD in Rhode Island, but my parents conveyed or or pushed, or however you want to call it. Back then, I would have said coerced, but now I understand that everything happens for a reason. But they encouraged me to go to a liberal arts school to study something a little bit more stable, something that makes a little bit more money. And when I went to Manhattan College, I really, really fell in love with psychology. I really was interested in human behavior and what motivates people, what motivates leaders. And so I got my bachelor's degree in psychology. And when you want to do something in psychology, it requires you to go to even higher education. So I actually have my master's in organizational psychology. And my goal, my intention at that time was to help leaders become better leaders through teamwork, team building, motivational theories. But I graduated in 2007 before the financial crisis in New York, and I moved back to New York for personal reasons as well. I was dating my ex-boyfriend at the time, and I just wanted to be closer to him. So I moved back from San Diego back to New York and ended up needing to pay some of my college debt back. So I randomly but not randomly, ended up in private equity in New York City and really went into the whole corporate world of finance and making money in that way. And between 2008 and 2017 was really really pivotal years of my life, because I adulted, I got to travel the world, I quit my job as well, and discovered entrepreneurship along the way, went back to private equity, went through a couple breakups and different loves and breakdowns and all of the things that happen in your 20s and 30s. And I'm so grateful that I had all of those experiences, because in human design, I am the experimenter. I learn through experimenting, I learn through doing, and I learn through traveling. And so I do not regret anything that has happened in my past. And I really do believe that there are multiple realities, multiple paths that you can take to get you to the same understanding of life. It's just the path you choose might be different, but I do believe everything happens for a reason. And I always believe that even if you think that you are on the wrong path, or that you might not know what you're doing, it's all leading to the place that you need to be. So if you feel lost right now, if you feel that you don't have clarity, it's normal, because I've definitely been there so many different times. I've had 4 to 5, I kind of lost count, different careers, different paths that I went down that I thought that I wanted to do, but ended up not working out or just changing my mind, multiple relationships that didn't go anywhere. But ultimately, I believe every experience has brought me to this point. And I'm finally at a point in my life where I don't know if it's age or that I feel like I've lived multiple lives and have had so many experiences that I can finally say that looking back, you can connect the dots to where you're supposed to be or where you're meant to be. But when you're going through that, it's oftentimes confusing. Like, why am I doing this? Why am I being led here? I often refer to that Steve Jobs quote, which I'm going to butcher right now, but it goes along the lines of, you only can connect the dots looking backward, not forward. So my dharma, I believe, my purpose is to help others gain clarity of just what they truly love to do, and help people find their authentic self, alchemizing their fears towards their dream, towards their vision. And I feel that it is our duty, being here incarnated in this time, in this beautiful life that we were given, that we were gifted, to do the best that we can and really take advantage of all the opportunities that we are given. And each of us are given different opportunities based on our own experiences, based on where we were born, based on, privilege levels. But wherever you are at and wherever you are on your journey, and you're listening to this message is meant for you. So I'm so honored and so humbled to be a student and a teacher of life. And I'm constantly amazed at how much I learn, that I still don't know that much. I still feel that there's so much to explore and so much to learn, and I'm just getting started. I started we're all spiritual beings living in human form, but I really started my spiritual journey in 2018 when I discovered Reiki and Kundalini yoga and began on that journey of healing, and then really started devoting my life and my time to just healing myself and understanding myself. And never did I ever imagine in my wildest dreams that I'd be talking on a podcast or sharing on my social media platforms about this kind of stuff. I literally wanted to become an artist, travel the world, take photos, write about travel, and travel the world on a fancy yacht drinking rosé. Like that was my dream, that the vision that I had in my mind. And not to say that it's not there still, but now I feel very deeply that my soul's mission, my soul's calling is to create community, create connection, and also help others connect deeper to themselves and help people, guide people to their truth. And how you do that is really up to you. It's not a teacher's role to give you the answers. I am just here as a guide to help you find your own inner truth. So that's a little bit about my story and why I'm doing this, my why, my intention. And I just wanted to go over really briefly the energies around this week and the rest of Leo season, because we are officially halfway. We're almost at Virgo season. I can't believe it. Like, what the heck? And it's almost the end of August, going into the fall. And the fall is my favorite time of the year, especially in where I live, which is the Northeast of America. And this time I really feel it is important. And the last time I did all of these solo episodes was back in Aries season, when I felt like that time was very important for us to activate our intention of, you know, after healing, after releasing during Pisces season, like what it is that we're planting, the seeds that we're planting. And I said that a lot during that time. And now this is the time of integration and taking inspired action when we head into Virgo, Libra, and Scorpio season. That is the time when we're harvesting, when we're reaping the fruits of our plants that we the seeds that we planted, and we get to enjoy the harvest. I know that a couple of my listeners are in the Southern Hemisphere. Just take this metaphorically versus, I know you're in winter time down there, but it's really about cultivating a sense of, okay, now is the time that I have done the work, I've done the healing, I've done the releasing that I hope you had, leaned into during Cancer season. And if not too late. It's not like this is just stopping at every season. But during Leo season, it really is a time for us to shine. It is a time to take action as well. And if you had listened to the August prediction from Cho Huang of August 2021, even Stephanie's prediction of July, it's really this momentum building of really expanding beyond your comfort zone, really facing your fears. So by the time this goes live, which is August 11th, which is Mercury Wednesdays, I did that on purpose. Mercury is the planet of communication, of commerce. It's the fastest moving planet of our solar system. And Mercury is going to enter its home sign of Virgo on this day. So all mercurial things are going to be activated, as well as Virgo. So right at this moment, Venus, Mars, and Mercury will all be in Virgo, the personal planets. And it's really a time to be like Virgo. We get a sneak preview of Virgo season. So Virgo season is all about being the editor, cutting away things that you don't need. It's being detail oriented. It's being very focused, right? Like the opposite sign, which is Pisces, is all about being, it's like literally, it's not even in this dimension. It's inclusive of everything. It is expansion, especially in the spiritual realm. Pisces is a very spiritual sign, and Virgo is asking you to focus in on one thing, to focus your energies on what it is that you need to do, and be very detail oriented about that. And also Venus is trine Pluto, which is, trines are very benefic, harmonious angles, and Venus is the planet of aesthetics, of money, of attraction, of love, of relationships. trine Pluto, which is the planet of transformation, of death and rebirth. And I have a feeling that during this time, especially before Libra season, this is the time when a lot of relationship topics are going to come up, and relationship in all forms, more specifically as well as love, because we don't live on islands. We live with other people. We live in a world where our actions affect the other people, affect others, and how we move through life is with other people, oftentimes being mirrored back to us of the wounds and the things that we need to heal. And that's not always the easiest thing, right? But I have a feeling that a lot of old wounds, old relationships that don't serve your current timeline are going to be brought into your awareness so that you can see how far you've grown, and also what you don't need in this current timeline for you to move forward in your current vision. Because right now, what I feel energetically is that we're at a time where we're kind of at a standstill. Not standstill per se, but we're moving from the past to the future. So we're in this like in between worlds, this liminal space of, all right, we got the lessons, we get it, we don't want to live in the past, we are letting go of the past, but the future is quite not apparent yet. But we don't want to co-create from the past, we want to co-create from the present moment, which is uncertain because we've never done it before. So we're really leaning into our intuition and really leaning into the essence of what we want to create versus our past experiences. And oftentimes, I don't want to say the universe is testing us, but maybe in a way we are offered second chances at relationships and opportunities that do not serve us, to make us sure of what we want versus what we don't want. So I've mentioned this in some of my episodes, but I want to also talk about decans in astrology. So I follow the tropical whole house systems, and I really resonate with numerology and the degrees of each sign. So every sign has 30 degrees, and the whole zodiacal wheel is 360 degrees. It's depicted as a circle. There's so much symbolism in a circle, as you can see behind me here if you're watching on YouTube. A circle has no beginning and end. It literally is like the wheel of fortune in tarot. And in astrology, each of the 12 signs is broken down into 30 degrees, which adds up to 360. And each sign, each 30 degrees, there's the first decan, which is the first 10 degrees, the second decan, which is the second 10 to 20 degrees, and then the third decan, which is 20 to 30 degrees. So right now we're in the last decan of Leo, from 20 to 30, because we're at the end of Leo season. And this decan is ruled by Mars, the 7 of Wands in Tarot. And then if you are familiar with Mars is the planet of action. It's the planet of assertiveness, the initiator, it's very visceral, very raw. In the shadow form, it could be control, it can be warlike, it can be conflict driven. And the 7 of Wands in Tarot is defensiveness and challenge, because from the second decan of Leo was the 6 of Wands. And the 6 of Wands depicts a warrior coming back from battle who has just won, is doing its victory lap, is getting some recognition, is like, yay, success. And then the 7 of Wands is like being challenged and having to defend something. So it is a little bit of an aggressive energy. I would say assertive, right? And this time, this last decan of Leo is possibly going to make you feel like a little irritated, possibly, like if things are not going your way, or if people are conflicting energies, right? Mars. And I mean, you could see it happening out in the collective right now with everything that's going on, vaccinated, unvaccinated, he said, she said, what is the right thing to do and what is right and wrong. The lines are becoming so blurred right now. And I just want to give a piece of advice that there is so much nuance and so many layers to all of this, that if I could give one piece of advice, is to tune into your heart space. Again, Leo season, Leo rules the heart, and just feel into what feels expansive versus contracted. Is it out of love or fear? There's definitely some buzzwords that I look out for when I hear somebody speaking online or on podcasts or Instagram or TikTok, when people start talking about things like they versus us, or how could they control us, or they are controlling us, or we are being controlled. The fact that those things might be true, it's not the frequency at which we should create from. The frequency we should create from is, how can we band together? How can we band together as a community to support each other? How can we co-create a better future for all of us? Not that we're bypassing any of the real things that are happening, and not being from the victim state of like, oh, what was me? I'm being, suppressed, I'm being controlled, which is, there are a lot of darker energies out there that are doing these things. But when you hear things like that and you feel contracted and you feel hopeless, that's when you know that it's not for you. You want to hear and listen to things that are expansive. The energy shift there is, let's co-create something where it's inclusive of all people, that is going to change the future. So I think that there's a lot of that going on right now. And I think a lot of people are dipping back into old behaviors, old thought patterns, because when you are waiting for somebody to give you the solutions or the roadmap, or you don't feel activated in your own solar plexus, which is the power center, then you almost become disempowered to listen to somebody else to give you the solutions to your own life. And that's not what the Aquarian age is all about. The Aquarian age, the Aquarius energy, is all about being individualistic in the form of like your own power, your own understanding of your responsibility for yourself. But in turn, you show up in the collective by being so hyper genuine and authentic that you offer something different for the collective energies. It's not the herd mentality, it is interdependence. It's not we all think the same. It's not that we all, because that's a cult, we all contribute something that is unique to our own self. I don't remember exactly which episode that I said this, but I definitely reiterated this fact that you have your own unique, special sauce, if you will, like, and how you contribute to the world is your own thing. So not everybody is going to resonate with being an activist, marching in the streets with a sign. Not everybody resonates with speaking on Instagram or being political, right? So you have to find your own way of speaking out, your own way of communicating, your own way of showing up in a way that feels authentic to you. And only you know that, and only you are responsible for your own mission, your own soul's path. Whew, okay. That went off in that tangent after I spoke about the decans. We are also in a waxing phase of the moon. So we just had a new moon in Leo that just happened on Sunday on the Lionsgate portal. I hope everybody had a wonderful, wonderful activation. And we are moving towards the waxing phase, which is, we're leading up to the full moon at 29 degrees of Aquarius, which is such a beautiful full moon, but we'll talk about that in 2 weeks. So this is the building phase. You're building upon the intentions that you set at this new moon in Leo. And it's probably going to be in your Leo house, the area of your life where you have Leo energy. So if you don't know what I'm talking about, listen to my previous episode where I go through each of the rising signs and the specific Leo house that you have. But you set some intentions, and how you show up is the energy of your sun, which is why I decided to do this solo episode again, because the 9th house is my Leo house, which is all about teaching and sharing information, sharing knowledge. And Aries is my sun, through a way that's being a leader, being the warrior, being somebody who takes charge, in my 5th house, which is creativity and childlike wonder. So that's how I personally work with my sun and my Leo house. So just check what house you have Leo in and the energies of your sun sign, which will give you a better idea of how to keep working with this Leo season. So now we're in the waxing phase of the moon, where I think you're going to feel like momentum is building towards something that you are building, something that you're manifesting. This is also a very potent time for manifestation. And I don't say that lightly, because I do believe in an ebb and flow of life. And we're, consciously either creating or destroying things. Energy is not created nor destroyed. Newton's first law of thermodynamics. So there is a time and space for creating and destroying. And right now we are in the creating phase. We're in Leo season. And how you create is through your conscious intention, co-creating with spirit. What that means is you listen to your inner guidance of how you're supposed to bring about these intuitive hits, the things that you are passionate about. Because if you don't know, then you just follow your passions, your creativity, and the things that you used to love as a child. Because as I mentioned in the beginning of this episode, if you have met me recently, this is as authentic I am in this stage of my life, in this stage of my evolution, as I was as a child. I feel that it's taken me many iterations of being authentic to myself, because I feel that that is actually the point of life, is to be as authentic to yourself as possible and not giving two fucks what other people think. But to get there, it takes time, right? You have to learn about yourself. You have to know what you love. You have to know what really, really sets your soul on fire. And how we get there is different, because again, we all have different levels of privilege, and how our privilege is validated from outside society, right? I'm a cisgendered, able-bodied human who grew up with certain levels of privilege. So I'm validated by society in certain ways, and also suppressed and oppressed in other ways. So I've had to navigate all of those different layers of how I have privilege and how I have been oppressed, and how I've been validated in certain areas of my life and not even seen in other areas. So I'm just opening up my throat chakra and sharing and channeling to help others remember their own gifts so that they can show up in this world. Great. So now that I've said all that, I actually wanted to do something that I started to do at the new moon in Leo, which was share channeled messages. So if you don't know me, I have some gifts, some psychic gifts, intuitive gifts, and I use these gifts to help people gain more clarity for their lives. This is nothing that you would not know. I am just confirming things that your soul and your higher self already know. But sometimes along our journey, we get confused, we get lost, and we have others in our journey to help us and help point us in the right direction. And I truly believe that this is my gift, and I'm finally saying this out loud. I'm finally sharing this, and I'm just really excited because it's something that I truly love to do. And it just comes so easily to me, which is another sign that I'm on the right path, because things like this should flow. It shouldn't be that difficult. And I just had to get out of my own way, because I had this like fear. I was kind of like in the spiritual closet, thinking like I'm sharing like about the moon, and I'm sharing about all these weird things that I've never spoken out loud about to people, and people are going to think I'm weird. Uh, Even though people probably thought I was weird and eccentric anyway, because I was always a little different. My mind just works in a different way. But I've come to a point in my evolution, and during all of this healing work I've done in the last 2 years, that I've finally come to a place where I opened up my throat chakra, really strengthened my solar plexus to now share, how witchy, how cosmic and mystical I truly am. And it feels really good. I really feel like I'm aligned to who I am. And when I am aligned to who I am, and I speak my truth, and I speak freely how I want to speak without code switching, things flow to me. It's almost like I don't really have to do anything. Opportunities and people come to me and find me through my own resonance. So take what resonates, leave what else, leave out what does not resonate. And this is for the collective. So I'm reading for the collective of Awaken and Align, the people who are listening to this and watching this on YouTube. If you want to see the cards that I'm showing, you could head to the YouTube channel to see it. Otherwise, you could just listen, and I'll try to describe the cards as best as I can. I use the cards because I'm a visual reader. I'm very visual, and again, I'm into the arts, so I resonate with colors. But I will try to do the best that I can to describe the card for those of you who are listening on the podcast. So the first question that each cards have a different meaning and energy, but the first thing I wanted to find out is, where are you all on your journey? And I have view from above, get the big picture. So it's a card with a bunch of hot air balloons, and you are on your journey where either you are in this energy or you should be on this energy of view from above, get the big picture, like zoom out. And sometimes we get so caught up in like our problems and what's happening in the moment that we forget to zoom out and remind ourselves that this is just a small temporary thing that's happening on our journey. That, again, like I mentioned in the beginning, you can only connect the dots looking backward, not forward. So it's really important for you to be present and listen to the urges and the inspired actions and signs and synchronicities that are moving you forward, even if they don't make sense. Because if you are in your logical mind, you'd be like, my friend invited me to this random party that I would never go to. But in your soul, in your feeling, you're like, maybe I'll just go. Who knows? I'll meet somebody different. And I think with the Saturn Uranus square that's happening is asking us to do things differently, try different things. The new moon in Leo was happening opposite Saturn retrograde in Aquarius. And that might have been a very, very frustrating energy. And we still have this energy right now, because the new moon in Leo is all about, I want to shine. I want to do this new thing. I'm so passionate. Yay, I'm a Leo. I'm shining. Look at me. Opposite, which oppositions in astrology are tense. Saturn retrograde in Aquarius is like, hold up. You need to take a step back. I'm not going to give you everything right away. You need to actually do your due diligence. You need to think about the future. You need to reflect. You need to review. Is this in alignment with your greatest good and the greatest good of all involved? And is this different from what you're currently doing? So some of you might have felt really frustrated, because overall it was a beautiful new moon in Lionsgate, but it's still asking us with that Saturn retrograde in Aquarius to like pull back a little and to like reflect. And if you have fixed energies, because there was a lot of fixed energies in the sky right now with Leo, Aquarius, and a lot of fire and air. I'm thinking of like tarot, fire, and the wands and the swords energy, which is all like, I want to move things quickly. I want to do things quickly because I'm super passionate about it. But there was Saturn being like, hold up. So this card, view from above, get the big picture, is Saturn retrograde in Aquarius being like, hold up for a second. Let's like really think about this and see if this is in alignment with like the longer term timeline. So then with the tarot, it confirms this because the past energy is the Five of Pentacles here. This card is really making me feel like scarcity, lack, like looking back and being like, oh, should have done this, I should have done that, or just looking at all of the things that has not gone your way or that has not gone your way in the timing that you have wanted it. This could also be around like finances and just scarcity mindset in general, the feeling of lack, the belief in lack. And a lot of you might have been doing a lot of healing around this. And I definitely talked about this on this podcast, where we're all moving from scarcity mindset to abundance mindset and what that actually looks like in real life, right? The 3D life. With the present energy being the Wheel of Fortune, the Wheel of Fortune is karma, is like destiny, is fated. And I use those words very lightly because a lot of people have different definitions of karma. I believe when you trust in the timing of your own life, when you trust in your own path, regardless of what everyone else is doing, where everyone else is at, you don't have to look back and regret. You don't have to look at what other people are doing and be like, woe is me, like, why don't I get those things? So I'm also getting this energy of like, maybe in the past, a lot of you were looking at Instagram or TikTok or comparing yourself to other people and being like, when's my time? Why is it happening for everybody else but me? Why is this like, why am I manifesting and setting intentions and praying to the moon and and when is it going to be my time? And trust me, I felt like this too. But again, and I it cringes when I say this, because like when I hear this being said to me, I'm like, shut the fuck up. But when you surrender to the way that spirit will allow it to come into your life, one day you wake up, again, it's like fated, it's just destiny. One day you'll wake up and it'll just happen with it when you least expect it. Because again, it's going to happen in a way that you cannot predict because it's not from the past. So the future energy is the Eight of Swords in reverse, which is actually like a beautiful thing, because the Eight of Swords upright is feeling trapped and feeling contracted, but by your own doing. See, the swords are all around this figure, which looks like a woman. And the swords is about your mind and about all these limiting beliefs and fears that you yourself put yourself into. So reversed is you're finally seeing, finally releasing yourself, finally getting liberated from self-imposed limitations, self-imposed fears, because in actuality, they're not real. So this shows me that you are rising above your past. You are trusting in your own divine timing and realizing that like you were actually never trapped in the first place. This was just a temporary lesson for you for whatever reason. Again, I'm channeling collective energy. So this could be in the area of your life where I think it was one of the episodes where I said, like, where can you feel more liberated with Aquarius? Where in your life do you feel trapped? Where in your life do you feel like, I need freedom? right? So that could be in the area of finance. It could be in the area of your day-to-day, like health activities. Somewhere in your life, you want more liberation. And sometimes that could just be from our limiting beliefs. And then I asked, what should they know right now? Again, number 13 with the fork in the road, and just calling out the animals that are on this card in case animal imagery is important to you. There's, I guess it's a llama or some kind of like donkey possibly with antlers, an owl on top of that, and a monkey. This is like what I was channeling about being in that liminal space between worlds where you're not quite in your past, but you're not quite in the future. So you're like standing here at this fork in the road being like, which direction do I take? Where am I going? What do I do? I need clarity. This is actually not a bad place to be because you can literally choose any of these options. And there's like there's no wrong way. It's really where you want to go and what you want to experience and where your focus goes, that you will take that journey. But you are ultimately, no matter what you do, because we got the blessed, which I love to see this card, which is number 22, and serendipity, which is 18. Again, like going back to the Wheel of Fortune, this is like fated. This is destiny. I feel a lot of people are on their destiny's path, on their north node, on their dharmic path of their soul mission. People are meeting their soulmates, their twin flames, their soul families. They're remembering their collective mission. They're remembering their starseed mission. More and more people are awakening to the fact that we are divine beings, that we're multidimensional and we're not just human. And so, again, for whatever reason, why you were in this like weird space of, you know, the Eight of Swords, feeling trapped, feeling like, what the fuck is going on with my life? And you're at this fork in the road, you just have to take a little pause to reflect on where you've come from and what you want to create going forward. Because again, before the panorama, we were all collectively going at a pace where it was just not sustainable. At least for myself, I can attest to the fact that I was just going, not really giving thought to what I was creating, what I was doing. It was mostly based on lack and survival with the Five of Pentacles here. It was like, I got to make money. I got to go. I got to do. I got to achieve. You know, I have to get after it without really regard to like what it was I was creating, how I was affecting this planet, how I was affecting other people. And however you see this panorama, unfortunately, many people had to pass away, transition. It's a very scary time for a lot of people. It did give us a moment of pause collectively with this Eight of Swords reversed and this fork in the road. It gave us a time, Saturn retrograde, of, okay, I'm here. This is where I was. And now I actually get to take time to consciously co-create. And with this serendipity card, just watch out for the signs and synchronicities. Again, this is like the Wheel of Fortune with this together is very, very fated. Beautiful. So the animal ally is the turtle, which is the water element. And the turtle is all about taking your time, going slowly. If you know about the story, the fable, the children's fable about the hare and the turtle, this is a story my mom likes to tell me all the time and remind me. The hare, which is a rabbit, you know, goes really fast, is on a rush, and tries to beat the turtle to the goal. And somehow the rabbit gets a little cocky, gets a little bit ahead of himself in his ego, her ego, their ego. And the turtle ends up winning because it took its time, you know. And when you are on your own time, when you are on your own unfolding, it doesn't matter what what other people are doing because you are just following your own path, then it doesn't matter really how fast or how slow you go, right? You're just taking your time. Okay. Then, what archetype are you being called to activate at this time? And I love this deck by Kim Krans, the Architect's book, and it's very resonant with Jungian psychology. And I got the Flame and the Prayer. The Flame I felt was so aligned to Leo energy, and the Prayer. And I'm actually going to read from the book because I just love the way she offers so many different resources and insights, and it's just a beautiful book. The Archetypes book by Kim Krans in the Wild Unknown series. So first we have the Flame. The fire, the spark, the glimmer. In Sanskrit, the word for fire is Agni. The ancient yogis saw this flame as a center of the abdomen and believed it to be responsible for our vitality. When it is lit, we are connected to our purpose and sense that life is a sacred gift. It is said that those who cannot see the sacred around them have let their inner flame go out. Think of this card as a call to reignite that fire, to cup your hands gently around those things you've forgotten and protect the flame, no matter how harshly the winds around you blow. It could be an inner archetype that begs you to light its wick. It is likely that the poet, the mystic, or the shaman will call to you with the language of the flame. When light, health, mental clarity, good digestion. When dark, excess heat and anger, complete darkness. Go deeper, the light you give off by Rumi. Gerard Richter's candle paintings. And then on the side it says, the archetypical fire is at the beginning of all transformation, purification, and manifestation. Nearly every spiritual lineage honors the flame. To enliven the connection with this archetypical energy, practice the candle gazing technique called Tratika. Notice how lighting a single candle in any space brings magic to the room and creates a sense of reverence. I love this because I talked about this in, I think on my Instagram, IGTV, that this is a powerful time to work with your solar plexus at the navel point. And some activities that you can do or practices that you can do is through breath of fire, yoga, doing the traditional asanas, really igniting your energy centers, because again, we are energetic beings and we have to activate our inner fire to give us the confidence, to give us that spark, right? That Leo energy to really activate that life force energy so that we can have enough energy and vitality to do the things that we want to do. So that's the flame. And then the prayer. I should have had these all found before. So the fire looks like this. Beautiful. Love the colors. The prayer, the worship, the reverence, the homage. Homage. What is prayer? When we are in a state of prayer and when we are not, to whom or what do we pray? Archetypically, the practice of prayer has been with us since the dawn of time as a remedy for the omnipresent self-centered thinking that spins us toward illusion. Prayer leads us beyond our ego as we move from our little story to the big one. Some say we are in a state of prayer anytime we are not in the center of our own thoughts. Others say prayer is a natural result of gratitude. Perhaps it is simply surrender or service. Whatever prayer is for you, this card reminds us of its importance. Get quiet, low, humble, and soft. Bow and touch the ground as your heart lifts to the sky. Though it may be uncomfortable, it is time nothing else will do. When light, offering to be of service, asking for guidance. When dark, expecting results, self-aggrandizement, go deeper, ask to be of service. Experiment with the act of bowing down. Nearly all spiritual traditions make a practice of prostration. And every song, kiss, breath, word can become a prayer. It is a feeling, not an action. Consider the ancient mantra, Om Namo Gurudev Namo. I bow to the creative consciousness within. I bow to the teacher within. This is beautiful because this really does, again, align to the first card, which was view from above, get the big picture. It's really getting outside of your ego, where you're focusing so much on your day-to-day, what's going on, what's not going right, and really getting to a centered space of allowing the intuitive guidance of whoever you call upon as your higher being, as your higher power, whether you call it God, goddess, source, spirit, the divine, universe. Getting into prayer is like such a beautiful practice. So again, prayer and flame. And then advice. So significant advice, signs and synchronicities. And this I pulled from the Starseed Oracle deck. If some of you resonate with starseeds, star family, you're a part of a team of souls, call and support. All paths lead home, inner authority, intuition, turn your gaze inward. The great severing, Mars energy, oh my God. Mars energy, anger, conflict, softening to love. And what did I say about this decan of Leo? It's Mars. Big picture thinking, Pleiades energy, visionary ideas, visionary, inspired ideas. Oh my goodness. Okay, there's so many synchronicities. I love when this happens. So the first one that came out, this is advice, star family, call and support. If you don't have like soul family or people that you can call to talk about spiritual things, or just people who you feel will support you, I did a prayer back in 2018 with Spirit when I actually went into prayer, speaking of the archetype. And I just asked, please connect me with the people of my soul family that I'm meant to meet in this incarnation. And they show up, and they really do. And I keep asking that prayer because different soul family show up at different times in your life when you need them. So having that kind of support is so crucial during these times. And then we had all paths lead home, inner authority. Inner authority is really that solar plexus energy, that flame energy that we were talking about, doing breath of fire, activating your solar plexus. Intuition, turning your gaze inward, again, with prayer, with trusting in the divine, trusting in spirit or the universe. Then we have the great severing, Mars energy, anger, conflict, softening to love, trying not to get triggered by every interaction that we're in, listening to your heart space, again, with the all paths lead home, listening to your intuition, really feel into the essence of how people speak and the energetic source of what they're saying. And then big picture thinking, view from above, remember, Pleiades energy, inspired ideas. This is the time to take inspired action. As I said, this is a time generally of integration. You've done the healing, you've set your intentions, and now it's really about taking inspired action, what you feel called to. And then we have the Moonology deck, work through your fears, new moon in Scorpio. Don't let your past hold you back, South Node, oh my goodness. Hold your vision, fixed moon, oh my goodness. I just love how synchronistic these cards are to the message. Yes, work through your fears, new moon in Scorpio. We were talking about that with your past energy of the Five of Pentacles. Oh, excuse me, my nose is itching. That happens when I channel. I feel like you have already all done this, working through your fears. I really do feel like this is a like acknowledging the things that you have already worked through. Don't let your past hold you back. And when we are at this fork in the road, right? And we have new opportunities come our way, sometimes we're still like, are we worthy enough? Are we ready enough? But don't let the past hold you back. This is really asking you to remember all the work that you've done, all the healing, all the self-love and self-worth work that you've done, that now these opportunities are coming to you because you've done that shadow work. But then you actually have to jump and take that leap. You actually have to have that Fool energy, Uranus energy, Aquarian energy, where you leap, knowing that the universe will catch you. And then we have hold on to your vision. And the fixed moon is the new moon in Leo and the full moon in Aquarius. And we have 2 full moon in Aquariuses within the same month. That is within a month, that is a blue moon. So this really is about holding your vision onto, and I think it's very interesting that we have visionary right here in this Pleiades card. And I have to say this is so synchronistic because I literally just posted on my Instagram this morning that it's more important to feel into the essence of the kind of life that you want to live. And by essence, I mean the feelings and the textures and the way that you want to feel versus the form. The form comes through the universe. Let the universe show it to you, but holding your vision in mind with a little bit of leeway for what is meant for you, because our human minds can only think up what we've previously known or what we've previously seen. So sometimes we have to be open to things that we have not thought of, right? Because there's so many unlimited possibilities that with this Wheel of Fortune, something will come in that you least expected, but you have to be open and expansive enough to see it and receive it. So I hope these messages resonated with you. Overall, I feel a very, very exciting time for all of us, because this is the 5-year numerology, which is all about being revolutionary, being a disruptor, changing. And August is the integration time where we actually implement the healing and the ideas. And since everything is moving into a Mercury ruled sign of Virgo, and Virgo is all about being super focused, being super detailed, because what we are being led to during the fall is the harvest and getting to enjoy all of the hard work that we put in since the beginning of this year, since our journey together, since Pisces season, even possibly before that, if you've been listening to me even before that. But this is why I like doing work like this through the seasons, because each season offers us an opportunity, offers us a way to metabolize all of the things that we are trying to let go of, and how we use these energies to our benefit. Because astrology and most of the systems that I've studied are there. We move through these energies, but it's up to you to take inspired action, right? Like you have to consciously either claim it or reject it or do something about it. And there's a lot of different readers out there, a lot of different systems, but all of them have said that this is the time to expand beyond your comfort zone, move away from the South Node, like this card says. Don't let your past hold you back, because we are truly moving away from the past. That is the Saturn in Aquarius square to Taurus in Uranus. We're moving away from the stagnancy. We're breaking free of what we've previously known. So I hope these messages helped. And as always, I am So grateful for all of you for listening, for watching, and for sending so many beautiful messages through the interwebs. And I really, really wish nothing but health, wealth, and abundance and love. Bye.